welcome to Minecraft. So this is a mod pack called Agrarian Skies. It is a sky block. There is a nice little story and sort of basic guide to how to deal with the sky block, including some wonderful things that Jaded Cat, the creator of the mod pack, has included, such as how to create a basic cobble generator, machinery that can do a cobble generator for you, and some more advanced bits and pieces, mob farms, all sorts of interesting things that give you information about the pack and what you're up to. The basic principle behind the pack, very simple, is to complete the hardcore quest mode mod pack. And in here, there you have a set number of lives. You've currently died 0 times. Hardcore mode is not active. You have an infinite amount of lives. I wonder how I turn on hardcore mode. Hello, do you tell me how to turn on hardcore mode? And basically, I in these, let's see, hardcore mode. In these things, I tend to do a very simple thing. I build a big flat platform and I put everything on top of it, and that's that. There we go. Starting with 8 lives, that's a lot of lives. But I want to do something a bit different. I want to do something other than my usual big flat platform, which is what I usually do. I want to build a little world with a kind of its own story to it. That's just to make sure that I spawn here on this platform rather than off in the abyss, which is a common problem with mod packs with edited maps. So I want to create a kind of little story, and I will probably speed up sections of this significantly. I will probably basically show you when things change and show you building things, but the basic conceit that I'm going for is going to be that I am a sky pirate, so the first thing I have to do is build my pirate ship, and then I'm going to go with the idea that the world is full of crystals, and the crystals float through the air, and a pan of misfortune, I think. And it's that is what all the material, all the wood and the land and things is attached to, and water comes from the water crystal, and so on and so forth. Just pop that there for now. So as I move on through the game, I will be building my skyship, then I'll be building some crystals, and I'll be trying to fill out the edge. I'll be using probably coloured glass to build the crystals. I'll be trying to build out the sort of environment around me with the idea of becoming a owner of multiple lands, and I'll try and make things look reasonably kind of sensible. So I'll have some dirt around the earth crystal that's kind of gathered there and been drawn to it by the power of the crystal. But I'll also have water at the water crystal, lava at the lava crystal, so I'll have my cobble gen at the lava crystal. And what I'll do is I'll be building walkways and connecting platforms and things like that, connecting the different areas. And that's going to be my basic conceit. So at first it's not going to look anything like that because I have no material, and I have to work on building up and getting enough materials to set everything up. But once I have enough materials to set things up, I will then begin working on creating my skyship, and then moving on to create crystal islands. For most of these mod packs, the basic principle is to set up a safe working area to start with, and that's what I'm in the process of doing. Grab some dirt and pop some dirt there, and some dirt over here. And it's always worth putting down the dirt so that you can have the trees growing. You can focus on a single tree with your bone meal, but getting a group of trees growing quickly will help you with just not burning through all your bone meal to get started. And this mod pack, you can get onto different islands. There's a selection of maps that Jaded Cat has had produced, or people have produced for this particular mod pack. Some of them are nice and easy. You start with a nice big island and a cottage and some extra resources, and some of them are just absolutely insanely difficult, and you start with a few bits of stone that are not properly connected together, floating in midair. When it comes to Minecraft, this is my sort of mod pack. I like the mod packs where it gives you something to do and something to build towards. I also am a fan of the Skyblock mod packs because you do start with nothing. In a lot of mod packs, for instance, I played Hexit here on the channel before. It just depends to a certain extent on the luck of the start. I played the Hexit mod pack and I had an average start on the video, but other times when I played it personally, I started and found a very easy dungeon right at the beginning of the game and literally just got a powerful weapon and just walked off with the game. So this thing where you have to build up systems to generate things. There are some mod packs like this. There's Ozone, which was recently released. Well, not recently released. Ozone 2 was the most recent version, and that's basically made a lot of the machines that make things easier very, very expensive. Very expensive indeed. So that means that you're going to be paying an awful lot to basically automate things and get things to build easier. I'm still going to use this to widen my platform for now because I need more workspace. Not you, not you. Now, if you are playing this personally and you're playing this just for yourself, one thing I would say is myself and my partner and several other people who I know who play this game do not consider it cheating to spawn yourself a builder's wand, which is an item that allows you to basically repeat this putting a line of blocks down. Rather than having to put each block down individually, a builder's wand allows you to put the blocks down as a group. And I don't personally see there being anything wrong with that. Some people would probably call it cheating, but I call it adaptive use of the sort of game mechanics. And the fact that it requires diamonds to build, it's a delay. That, in my opinion, is just a delaying tactic. Like, it's not that difficult to build it. It just means that the very early building you do is going to be a little bit more difficult. Personally, I'd just cheat one in. But for now, we will do the building legit. I will probably also ask people sort of like their opinion of how things are made. As I said, I'm usually a very functional builder. I am usually interested in flat platforms and a safety level beneath, engineering areas and things like that. So prettying things up and making things look nice, not really my forte. So I'll probably be asking people for their advice and their input and whether they think what I built is nice and what they think I could do to improve what I've built. This is also my first time actually delving properly into Agrarian Skies 2. I've played a little bit of Agrarian Skies 2 in the past, probably 4 or 5 hours of Agrarian Skies 2 in the past, which is not much at all when you're talking about this sort of mod pack. And I enjoyed it. I've played a lot of Agrarian Skies 1, but the mod pack's changed significantly. There's been a lot of things taken out and a lot of things put in to change the balance of the game. So some of this I will either go to make something or think that something exists when it doesn't, and that's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how Jaded Cat has changed up the mod pack to make it more difficult. Oh, that's so frustrating if I hadn't dropped that one off the side. Has changed up the mod pack to make things either more difficult or easier for people. So for now, we are just starting with the basic quests, which is, or the basic principle of the mod pack, which is to get wood and then to get some string, some tinker's tools, and some other bits and pieces together just to start us off. The major issue, the next major sort of issue, like I've got basically everything I need to start. The next major issue I'm going to be facing, there we go, and that's why we have the dirt blocks down as soon as possible and plant trees as soon as possible, because I didn't have to waste any of my bone meal to get this tree to grow, because it was just sitting there, ticking away, gathering its growth ticks. The next thing I have to look out for is water, because I'm in the middle of the sky and I don't have a bucket, I don't have water. So water is my next major concern, because to build a cobble gen I need water. To get a lot of the other bits and pieces to get crops going and things like that, I will need water. So what I need, there's a couple of different ways you can do it in different skyblocks. Some skyblocks give you the opportunity to get water from quests. Some skyblocks hide water, so you have to go out and explore the sort of empty sky, and there'll be little islands floating already. Jaded Cat with the Agrarian Skyblock, with the Agrarian Sky set, goes with what's called wooden barrels. They're ex-nihilo barrels, and if you put ex-nihilo barrels out when it's raining, you gather water. So, as some of you might know, some of you might not, the more you sleep, the less it rains. So for the start of this, I'm not going to be sleeping through the night. My skyblock is small enough that nothing's going to spawn, because things have to be a certain distance away from you before they spawn. So nothing's going to spawn, and instead I'm going to be focusing on staying awake and getting some barrels set up so that I can gather some rain. Now it asks me to build the Tinker Table set, so the Tinker Table set shall become constructed. Stencil table, part builder, pattern chest, Tinker's tool forge, and a crafting table. There we go. So that's that completed. I now have to build a flint axe head. So this is where it becomes a case of like your resources are going to be very limited. I have 8 flint, and that's all the flint I'm going to have until I set up a cobble generator, or sorry, a dirt farm, a sieve, and a hammer to hammer the stone that I get into a more functional form, into gravel specifically for flint. So there are going to be some sort of major limitations on me. What am I doing? I am putting down my Tinker's Table set. So stencil table. Oops. Don't fall off the edge. Don't fall off the edge, don't fall off the edge, don't fall off the edge, don't fall off the edge. Thank you. The reason I put that up there is I can access the parts chest from it as long as it's touching that. Actually, speaking of which, I wonder if this is Tinker's 2. If this is Tinker's 2, then I will be able to... Yes, there we go. Ta-da! Much better. And the stencils go in there. So I need an axe stencil, and I need to make a flint axe head. Most of my flint's going to be used in making tools, so flint axe head. claim my reward. I can either have eggs or milk. I'm going to go with eggs because the opportunity of maybe getting some chickens early. Aluminium ore is not really going to do me any good for a while. And tool rod pattern. I could just use a stick here, but I'm going to make myself some tool rods. One tool rod, two tool rod, three tool rod. Okay. And I can then make myself a tool, and in this case it is going to be a flint axe to help me with... do I actually have to make it in the tool station? It depends on the version of Tink you've got and what's enabled and not enabled. Sometimes you can build those in your inventory. Crop. The reason I'm using a crop is I will get additional silkworms and I will get extra saplings and extra apples from the tree. So this is basically what I'm going to be doing now for probably about the next 20 minutes, and I will bring you back and show you the next exciting thing that happens. Hello everyone, this is a great tree. There's a random chance of getting one of these, or this is a giant tree spawn. There is actually a tree called a great tree, but this is a giant tree spawn. There's a random chance of getting one of these each time a tree grows, and I'm just going to show you basically when you are on a big sky block with lots of empty air around it, the way I like to deal with the great trees. We need another couple of ladders. That'll do. And we'll dig through, and what I'll do is I'm going to go up to the top, and a great tree spawn is actually a really lucky thing. It can be a little bit awkward at first, but once you get used to dealing with a great tree spawn is actually a really useful thing to get, because great trees provide you with a huge amount of wood, saplings, and apples and silkworms. One thing to note is that for a lot of people food is difficult at the start of skyblocks like this. One reason I took the Pan of Destiny, which is a weapon really, is you can put the Pan of Destiny down and you can use the Pan of Destiny to cook up silkworms and eat silkworms. And you put it down by sneak right clicking. Well, you could in Agrarian Skies 1, I don't know about Agrarian Skies 2. Just like when you are at risk of sort of lava, do not go straight down. Always dig in front of you, even though it means certain things will drop off the edge and you will lose certain things. You don't want to fall down into the oblivion below. You could just chop the tree down from the bottom. It's very hard to get all of it though, and you'll also miss out on some even more of the collectibles as things decay off the edge of your island. This way at least you can sort of gather most of what the tree has to offer. But you will go through an awful lot of crooks. And actually, while I'm thinking about it, can I use the Pan of Destiny to cook? Yes, I can use the Pan of Destiny to cook silkworms. Because you won't get enough apples. Later on you can actually use apples to make apple juice and carrots to make carrot juice. And there'll be a huge number of crops. The Jaded Cat included Pam's Harvest Craft and Agricraft, which means that you'll be able to get access to massive amounts of food and a whole variety of different meals to eat. Also, cooking for blockheads is included, and cooking for blockheads gives you access to a kitchen. which is a great way of storing and sort of enjoying making food. And this is what's going to be going on for another sort of 10-15 minutes probably, as I continue to cut down trees and gather wood for the next section of the quest book. Wait, did that not cook that? Oh, did I not? I didn't put enough wood in. So it needs more than one piece of wood. Oh well. No harm done. I have apples. So this is what's going to be going on. I will probably end the episode at some point. I don't know when the episode's going to be ending, but the episode will end at some point, and then we'll pick up with the next episode. But if that's this for this episode, thanks for watching. I'll see you again next time, and if we come back to this episode, keep that ending in mind and pretend I said it when this episode does end. Bye guys.